think with that, go on, Pete.
I was going to say, doesn't that go back to then your recruitment? Because you have bought players in. You bought Odegaard that you've talked about. You bought Timo Werner in, who you had on loan, and then you continued him on into this season. I've Hope shaking his head, and I think a lot of people. This is what I'm saying, though. This is what I'm saying. You have other options that can come in for Son, and you can come in for other players, but they're just not of now. You boys are saying that they're probably not of the quality and not good enough to knock. So then, do you then not go back to recruitment, and then does not that lie?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Two things are right at once. The recruitment has been dire, but there's managers in the Premier League that have got less resources that are getting more results than us. Yeah. So at what point?
I just think though, with Ange, when he was brought in, it should have been understood that Ange is a manager that needs players to play his system. He's very stubborn in using his system. So when the recruitment should have known that you bring in a profile of player to suit Ange's system and you're going to get the best out of him. Ultimately, I see this as a failure from our board because Ange has been very clear in the way that he plays. He's not going to change from that. So you need to buy players.
That's the problem.
Around holes.
Ever since you were performing like really well, that brief 10-12 game period where for some reason everyone thought you were in the title race and you never were. After that, you've just been bad. Like you haven't. I don't feel like Spurs have improved ever since Ange's first 15 games. I feel like you've only got worse.
And that's the point around that. I would ask as well. Would a Spurs fan like yourself, George, be supportive of your manager if you hadn't have had that 10-game run, which, when you look at it now, looks more of the blip than anything else? So I want to show you this stat. That I read today, and it's that Tottenham are the first team in Premier League history to fall behind 1-0 at home in 15 games. In a single calendar year. When you think of all the shitty clubs and teams that have been in the Prem in 30-odd years, no one's ever done that. For me, with your squad, that is crazy.
Do you know what, yeah? With that Stat Muse account, it's funny, isn't it? Because they love to use stats like that, but they won't post the other stat on the other hand that Tottenham's like the team that's come back from behind the most times. The stat that we go 1-0 down all the time is, oh yeah, but we come back and win a lot of those games too. Tottenham always come back.
But you shouldn't be going 1-0 down at home so frequently, though. So.
My point is it's presenting balance. Yes, we go down 1-0, and it is a problem that we're consistently going down and going behind to teams. But we also come back in a lot of those games and show character to come back, and that's what Ange just instilled in the team. I think a lot of the times that we're going 1-0 down, it's just been a problem, and at Spurs in general, is the mentality to come back in those games and the mentality to change it around. I just think go on.
No, real quick, because again, like, I don't know whether Henry agrees or disagrees, but just I believe that you just lied to everyone here on the terrace, because this is the lie that you just said. You said that you believe that Angie Martinez will take this club forward. George, that's a lie. You know it's a lie. Angie, I call him Angie Martinez, just to clown him. But see, so you said that you believe that Ange will take Tottenham forward. You don't believe that. You honestly believe that manager is going to take Tottenham forward.
And with the right players, if we sign some quality players in this window, I think he takes us forward. I think one of the biggest
because you're dealing with Levy.
No, but even when we look at the games yesterday, yeah, Tottenham should have won. If we had better quality attackers, we would win those games. A lot of the games I'm watching, I'm thinking, yeah, if we didn't have Brennan Johnson on, didn't have Son on the pitch, we could actually break down teams a lot better. We're struggling with the low block and we're struggling to retain possession because our players in the final third love to play grenade football. That's ultimately what it is. Brennan Johnson gets to the right-hand side. He sees some space in front of him. He's like, oh, let me put a cross in. Doesn't want to take on his man or actually do anything imaginative. He has no soul creation in his own mind to actually do something with the ball. So I think if you sign players on those wings that actually suit the way, because if anyone watched, or I take it no one's watched, but if you just do some research on any of Ange's players, he likes touchline wingers. At Celtic, he had 2 touchline wingers that were specialists in taking on their players. If Tottenham don't have that, and you've got 2 players the complete opposite of that.
No. But this is disingenuous.
The Odegaard completed one of the most.
Odegaard was signed for that. He unfortunately got injured within the first month. What can we do about that? It wasn't like a hamstring injury as well. It was just unfortunate.
No, see, there we go. Look at what Henry said.
Do you know
the key thing is you have to adapt.
How though, if Gordon and Isak got injured, he'd change his approach.
But I feel like
100% will change it up.
I feel like with regards to trying to change their approach with the wingers that we've got, the two wingers we've got are on the shoulder wingers. We saw Son play his best football when he was like an inside forward for Conte and he's running off the shoulder on the counter. Same thing for Johnson. He'd probably be best if he's just running off the shoulder on the counter. Okay, you can ask Spurs to play counter-attacking football, but most teams aren't going to let us play counter-attacking football because we're Spurs. Teams go into a low block instantly as soon as we start, and we're on the ball. So
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. No. Hold it. See, Josie, again, that's the second line you've now said it on the Terrace.
I've seen underhand, we've dominated more teams than more teams in the league. Like we've dominated near enough every game.
You haven't dominated. Having more of the ball doesn't mean you dominated. There's a difference. There's a difference.
Okay, but teams clearly go in a low block. If we're getting more of the ball, they're going to go in a low block.
Yeah, because they know the reason why they do it. Again, George, the reason they do it is because they know if they give you the ball and have you guys press up, it's better for them.
Yes, that's the point.
David, why do they feel so comfortable?
It's the tactic of the opposition team now.
Why do they feel so comfortable giving us the ball? Is it because the players in the front line?
I can't lie. I think part of it is because you are Spurs. If you go to any of the top 6 teams, and I mean this as respectfully as possible. When as a team that's not in the top 6, if you go to any top 6 ground, the team where you are most likely to get points is Spurs. And just because naturally the way you guys are, if you're going 1-0 down 15 times every single in a calendar year, you ain't winning most of those games. I genuinely don't believe comeback wise you guys are that good because you lost 9 games already this season.
What we
are historically we are, but not this season.
You're like 15th or 16th in the amount of losses you've got this year. So you can't
only the bottom 3 have got more defeats in the league than us.
Literally, you can't be that good.
You can't expect.
I know. Wait. This is what David. You're conflating two things to be the same. Like I never said that we was that good as to why we can't. No, I presented balance. Yes, we go behind a lot of these games, but we've won a lot of these games. We've gone behind in. If you look at the stats, it's probably like 8 losses, 7 wins, or something stupid like that. I don't really know the stat. You can get up. But
you're 11th. It shows you're 11th.
I know
that's all that matters. You're 11th.
Obvious to me, but I'm sitting here and acknowledging the fact that the team we've had available for the past couple of weeks, I don't expect much better from them because I'm not even funny. Archie Gray's at centre back. What do you want me to do?
Wait. Okay, no. So you're saying that team there with the injuries is good enough is not better than 11th. So basically 11th is what you expect from that team.
11th, no. Because this is what I don't get is all you people, especially you have hope. I'm pretty sure prior to the season, you didn't have Tottenham finishing 6th or 7th with our best team. So you're now telling me with the injuries that we wouldn't finish 10th.
Just with your injuries, I didn't have Tottenham in 11th. Maybe like 8th, 9th, 11th.
No, you're saying with our injuries now, that don't count because I know prior to the season, everyone's predictions. No one here, maybe Henry, because we're Spurs fans, we over-predict ourselves, but no one had Tottenham finishing top 4. Barely anyone had Tottenham finishing in the top 6.
No, that's true.
When we're falling out from not being a top 6 team to falling out to being around 10th, 11th with injuries, this is where we would be at because no one expected us to be here. We expected to challenge for top 6. Okay, we've now got injuries. We've had injuries for the past 2 months, so we're gonna fall down the pecking order and be about 10th. I'm sitting there being honest.
At what point do we fall to where we say this is like because if we don't get positive results against Newcastle and Arsenal, which we, to be honest, could. And teams around us win, we could be sitting here come the new year, 2 Premier League games into the new year, and we're 15th. Is that a point
look, even now at this point, Henry, if they sacked Ange, I wouldn't be happy, but I wouldn't be fuming because, like I said, I acknowledge the fact that Ange isn't doing enough right now to get the most out of these players. But my point is that, like we've already said, the recruitment's the biggest issue for me. I think Tottenham's always going to have this problem because the recruitment's going to be an issue. My whole point is you can sack Ange right now, season won't change around. And even if it does change around, it'll look good for 6 months. Next year, we'll be back at the same point talking about, oh yeah, what's happened with the new manager? He was good for the first 6 months. Why is he not good right now? Because the squad's not good enough. It's always going to come back around to this.
I don't think if Spurs dramatically changed the way they played, I don't think they'd be dramatically better off. Just because I don't see how it improves, how you can improve this.
Because you don't think the squad's good, Dave. That's why.
So quickly, you just can't do it. And I agree, the injuries are a big part of that. Because if you don't have three out of your starting 4, 3 out of your potential 4 centre backs, obviously you're going to be hampered by what you can do.
But then wouldn't a pragmatic approach help? If you know that you're missing many of your centre backs, wouldn't the sensible thing be more pragmatic, sit back a bit deeper and use the speed, and the technical qualities of a Kulusevski and managing to now counter and play in a transition.
It'd
Wouldn't that be
better.
the obvious
I
thing to
don't-
do?
But my point is, like, you know how George said Ange believes that he's the manager to take them forward. What is forward for Spurs? Because
Forward,
whether
we
they
get back
finish,
into the top
whether they
four,
finish 10th
challenging
or
for
whether they
major
finish 7th, because realistically, that's where I think they're going to be. I don't think they can go. I think that they this season they're already capped.
It's
Taking
certainly-
us forward is winning a trophy this season.
Yeah, it's certainly a fair point. Viewers, we'd love to get your thoughts and opinions on this. Some believe he's close to being sacked. Others want to give him more time. Some want him tomorrow. Big Ange sacked. Is that something that Spurs fans should wish for, or should they be against it? Give us your thoughts and feelings in the comments section below. Do we have any super chats? We've got loads of super chats, but none specifically about this. First one says, Big Ange is Jesus Christ reincarnated. I don't understand that.
Wow. Okay.
Not during Christmas. Let's not do that.
I don't actually get it. Like, even as a joke. Thanks for the super chat. I like the donation. I just don't understand it. Merry Christmas, boys. I wish you. Did you just assume our agenda, Ash? Did you just assume our agenda? Our agenda. Big up yourself, Ash. Wish you all a happy new year. Happy
Same
new
to you,
year.
Lambert, man.
New Year's Eve tomorrow, we've got a really special show for you. We've got a Straight Facts special with everybody from Straight Facts all on the same show. That's going to be at 3 p.m. UK time tomorrow. So make sure you're all back here for that with LB, Dan, Hussam, Mo.